What's up, Tennis TA fans? TA, of course, standing for Tactical Analysis, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're analyzing a thrilling point between Alexander Zverev and Jannick at the 2025 Australian Open final. Zverev is serving from the deuce side, and the score is 1-2 in set 1. Let's dive into the tactical nuances and set plays that made this point so exciting. Zverev starts out with a flat out-wide serve, drawing Sinner over to the deuce doubles lane. Notice how Zverev falls into the court, facing Sinner and ready to pounce on the return of serve. Now, let's take a look at Sinner's range of return of serve options. He's got 4 main choices: a conservative return to the neutral position, a high recovery return with plenty of height to the baseline tee, an acute angle short cross-court forehand attack, or a late angle forehand to the adjacent corner. The high recovery return is a great option, but it's not easy to execute. The ball needs to have plenty of height to give Sinner time to recover, and it's got to be deep enough to push Zverev back. If done correctly, this return can be very effective. A high recovery ball offers very little velocity for the server to capitalize on. At club and junior levels, most players make errors when attacking a soft bounce ball. They tend to redline, overplaying the shot, thinking it's an easy winner. The other advantage of a deep high recovery ball is the vector of the bounce. The ball does not bounce onto your racket, rather it lands and bounces upward, making timing the ball a challenge. The acute angle short cross-court forehand attack is another option, but it's a high-risk shot. If executed correctly, it can be a winner, but if not, it can leave Sinner vulnerable to a strong counter-attack. The path of the ball travels against the server's momentum, who is falling into the court toward the returner. The server must change directions almost instantaneously. Beware, as seen by the range of attack triangle, the edges are red, indicating a high-risk shot. The benefits? The ball travels over the lowest part of the net. You are drawing the server across and off the court, and presenting the opportunity to finish with a volley to the ad side. The late angle adjacent corner return is a popular choice against an out-wide flat serve. It's a tough shot to time, but if done correctly, it can put a lot of pressure on Zverev. Court geometry dictates a shorter distance to the target, offering less time for the server to retrieve and return the ball. The server, having just served, possessing a strong forward momentum, must change direction and rush to retrieve the ball. By rushing laterally, the server's line of sight is away from the court, allowing the returner to ghost into the court, placing them in an ideal position to attack all ranges of the court. Risks. The serve is traveling diagonally across the court, carrying momentum. Conservation of angular momentum dictates it will want to deflect off the racket at an equal and opposite angle. It wants to fly off into the side fence. The late angle return is very difficult to time, carrying the risk of missing wide. The late angle return should be aimed a meter into the court to land it in the adjacent corner with margin. Also, the net is higher near the post, carrying the risk of a net error. Whichever option Sinner chooses, his return should be premeditated based on the type of serve. If the server attacks out wide, he should have already decided where to attack. The wide serve should trigger your response immediately. It should not be a reactionary response. So, what does Sinner choose? He opts for the more conservative return, but unfortunately, it falls short, allowing the ball to bounce up to Zverev's strike zone. Sinner also recovers slightly back to the deuce baseline area. When we compare Sinner's return to the range of possible returns, it's clear that it didn't put much pressure on Zverev. Zverev's got a broad range of attack options now, including a backhand redirect to the short ad side, a backhand rally reversal to the neutral ad side, a backhand neutral ball up the court, or a deuce battering ram, attacking Sinner's recovery void. Let's look at each option. So option 1, the short ad side redirect, is a popular choice because of the distance Sinner has to cover to retrieve the ball. The shot is comparatively easier because of the conservation of angular momentum. The ball wants to go that way. The server can also pivot in the shot, making use of any velocity the returner sent with the ball. The potential to approach the net to volley the ball if the returner manages to defend is also a great advantage. The temptation must be resisted to think that this shot is a winner though. Always expect your opponent to defend and be ready to attack the weak ball by recovering to the best possible position directly after playing your redirect. Option 2. The backhand rally reversal draws the opponent to the ad side. Sinner's best option against this choice would be to return in toward the midcourt. It's the safest defensive return with the most margin. Playing a down-the-line backhand on the run is possible, but unlikely given the skill level required and small margin for error. If the player manages this shot, they deserve the point. The advantage of playing this shot is to receive a backhand ball which can either be returned cross-court or redirected with a late angle down-the-line shot, forcing the opponent to scramble back over to the other side again. Take note, once the choice to play a backhand reversal is taken, you should immediately recover to your shadow position on the opposite side of their baseline tee. Option 3. Backhand neutral. This may seem like a passive shot, but looks can be deceiving. The returner is forced to play a defensive shot against an attacking ball with zero angle to work with. Because the ball is hit directly up the middle of the court, the opponent is forced to create an angle of distribution or return the ball back up the court, which would indeed be a passive return. In this case, the lack of angle is challenging. The disadvantage is that you will have missed the opportunity to set up a finisher position. If the returner manages to distribute with an angle, you will now be the one running to retrieve the ball. One option would be to close down the angles by approaching the net to crush the ball with a volley. By being closer to the net, the passing angles are diminished. So, what does Zverev choose? He goes for option 4, the battering ram. Zverev attacks the same corner twice, exploiting Sinner's recovery void. Sinner is forced to recover toward the baseline tee to cover the range of attack. This was due to his short return of serve to the service tee. Zverev sees the widening opportunity and strikes with a battering ram attack, wrong-footing Sinner completely. Important to note, Zverev, seeing Sinner's line of sight has been drawn away from the court, creating a blind spot, ghosts the net. Players should eagerly await the moment their opponent's line of sight turns away from the court and, like a predator, must be ready to pounce. The best possible counterattack to this battering ram to the deuce corner would be to launch a high recovery ball towards the baseline tee, offering Sinner the opportunity to regain his position, forcing Zverev to restart the point. In reality, Sinner gets his racket to the ball, sending it in to the midcourt where Zverev is waiting, having ghosted the net upon seeing Sinner's line of sight being diverted away from the action. Once again, Zverev has the clear advantage with the entire court as his range of attack. This is a classic crush and rush tactic. Crush and rush is a much used combination, and in this case, Zverev attacked with a battering ram and rushed the net for a volley. This is the main objective of tactical analysis and set plays. Zverev's options are to volley a forehand to the open court, a forehand battering ram, or a direct ball to the neutral backcourt. It's no surprise that Zverev directs the ball away from Sinner, volleying to the ad corner. The battering ram volley would have been an equally legitimate option, exploiting the recovery void once again. The neutral zone happens to be the more risky option, providing Sinner the opportunity to put another ball in play, possibly passing Zverev. A hint: when in an attacking position, delay your attack slightly, placing doubt in your opponent's mind. Disguise your intention or feign a shot towards one side while striking to the other. Prepare to strike a winner and then play a drop shot. You need to give yourself the best possible chance of completing the point, providing practically no chance for your opponent to counter. In conclusion, premeditated serve +1 patterns are highly effective for placing the returner into a vulnerable position. That is not to say the pattern will play out precisely as intended all the time, but provides a framework upon which to rely. Having strike triggers when you are returning serve is equally important. One cannot simply hit the ball over the net hoping to make the shot. One must train to return certain serves depending on the type of serve. Training for premeditated returns allows you to execute with confidence. Mentally, you should be only concerned with how you will navigate your shot triggers or set plays. Avoid self-evaluation. Self-evaluation creates a duality in your mind, one being you and the other being how you think you should be playing. This duality is a distraction, shattering the moment and your natural flow. Trust your training implicitly. Only concern yourself with decisions, not how well you executed your shots. Ask whether you made the best choices, not how well you played. Were you able to predict each shot? Let me know in the comments. Now, let's watch the point in its entirety.